Welcome to #SetLife.
Hello, everybody. I am Bradford Clark, and that was Joseph Quick on our stylophone intro.
Get some.
I always love watching the guests.
You know you want more.
I always love watching the guests when you bring that out, and they're like, "What is that?" Like, what is about to happen?
What is Joe doing?
That's a nice one too, man.
It is, yeah, it's fun. Enjoy it.
So welcome everybody to #SetLife, the podcast where Joseph and myself bring on guests from the film and moving picture industry and discuss with them about what they do on set and just a lot of different avenues and aspects of the industry. And tonight we have with us a special guest, Trevor Stevens. Trevor, why don't you introduce yourself? What do you do in the movies?
What's up, guys? My name is Trevor Stevens, and yeah, I work in the film and video production. I am a gaffer or key grip, depending on the production, but I mainly gaff at the point I am in my career. By gaffer, I mean I creatively construct lighting diagrams and lighting plans for film and video production, whether that be commercials, music videos, or films. And not only do I create the lighting plan and the lighting construct, I delegate that plan to my workers and what units and tools will be needed to make that plan happen. And it's the best job in the world. I would never do anything
well
else.
said, and I couldn't agree more.
And I believe every word, the amount of passion and enjoyment in your face as you said that, said more than you could hear.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I could bring myself to tears talking about how much I love what I do. I never want to do anything else. I live on set. I live for set. It's all I've ever done. It's all I've ever known. I think it's all I ever will know.
Trevor and I met years ago when I was still just, I was gripping. I was really getting anything I could. I was doing a lot of stuff in the art department, and Trevor was mainly a PA. And we had this discussion on a break at work one day, and it was about how much we loved lighting, and I was getting more into the lighting, and you really, I should just stop PAing. I was like, don't stop PAing. But
that was focus. Right when I stopped PA. Actually,
and that's when you met Dave.
Yeah.
So that's important. We love the PA word. How long did you PA for?
So I started PAing when I was 14 years old.
Oh.
Back in high school. Yeah, I was a youngin', dude. This is all I've ever known, like I said.
Yeah, literally.
And I PA'd until I was
what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I did. I was fully...
As soon as the balls dropped.
Yes. And film was my passion. It's what I always wanted to do. And I was lucky enough early on to meet a producer in Lansing, and he brought me on a few films when I was younger and really gave me my start and was able to build connections from there. School is kind of a joke in this industry. It doesn't really matter. No offense if you paid for a film diploma or whatever you want to call it. But anyways.
Yeah, more power to you.
Yeah, more power to you. It's great. I'm sure you learned what you needed to learn and got what you needed from it. But I started working young, made a lot of connections, and everybody told me not to do that. So I did go to school, and school really just kind of taught me that, you belong in G&E. Coming from my background, what I came from and where I came from, and wanting to work in the arts industry, G&E was just where I belonged and where I really just honed my skills, and I really taught myself lighting and honed everything about everything to do with it. And this is where I belong, and this is what I'm meant to do. And I just know that. And it feels good to know that.
Yeah. Trevor is a brother of mine, and I truly enjoy any time I see him. We have driven past each other on the way to set and just smiled the whole way. Oh yeah, we're showing up together, brother.
It's because it's
obviously on the call sheet I see he's there, so I'm already smiling when I'm driving in. But we've literally rolled down the window and had conversations driving down the freeway.
Yeah, it's long hours, it's hard hours, it's hard work. There's nothing easy about G&E. It's large, expensive, heavy equipment.
A lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of critical thinking. It's a lot of creative thinking when you're designing your plan and you're designing how to light it with your director of photography.
Yeah,
and then you have to enact it
with light.
Yeah,
but you also have to consider the scientific aspects of the electricity,
and you have to understand what it's actually physically capable, because
yeah.
like it's your job to put that into perspective for a lot of the rest of the people on the cast and crew, and it can be exhausting, but I love what I do, man. I never get burnt out. Like today's been my first day off in like 3 straight days, and before that it was like 16 straight with like 1 day off riddled in between somewhere in there. Like
on that grind, baby.
Yeah, like you can't get burnt out by it. When you're in this industry, you either have to love it and just be willing to like live it. Like you have to accept that like most of what you're gonna do and you're gonna experience in life is gonna happen on set if you're gonna make this life work.
Yeah.
Like if you're really gonna make this life be like something that you're gonna make a living with and you're gonna live with, you gotta understand that like 80% of your life is going to be lived on set. So you got to start
some sort of sacrifice in every other aspect of your life.
You have to love being there, or else you're fucked.
Yeah,
I've missed holidays, I've missed funerals, I've missed birthdays,
weddings.
I mean, when I went to Specs Howard, one of the first things that they had said, like for whatever reason, the number one rule you could break is being in class, whether on time or at all. And the reason that they made that there is because like if you're in, because it was a news school, it was basically teaching you how to work for the evening news or the world news, just that type of production.
Yeah, broadcast
but
production.
life happens. Like,
dude, I did some broadcast production classes. That shit was fun as fuck, dude.
It is.
Like,
I had a good time.
The whole show at the end of like that was our exam,
there was a
dude.
lot to learn.
So much fun.
But that was the one key thing that they wanted to point out to the students was that you have to get accustomed to working on any day. Like if job calls and you're working, like I worked on Easter this year.
Yeah,
dude, that's just what we did. I worked, ended up being less than a full day, but that was just because we hustled earlier in the week and it just happened that way.
We weren't scheduled to, but
we were scheduled. No, we were scheduled to work. It was on the schedule, but that's what I'm saying.
No,
I worked until what?
We were out of town. What difference did it make? Let's work.
Yeah. I worked till 6 a.m. from like 2 p.m. the day before on the 4th of July. Like, bet I was out getting drunk barbecuing that night, but like I was tired. Like,
sure.
Sometimes it's just like sacrifices you have to make.
When work calls,
but you gotta love it.
You go.
You gotta love it.
Love it.
So you had mentioned in your intro,
you ain't gonna be able to do it.
A large number of different types of projects that you work on.
Oh shit, dude, I'm all over, bro.
Yeah,
you name it? I've done TikTok. TikTok's huge right now. Do a lot of TikTok videos. It's huge in the market right now. Like high end
for
produced.
Like corporate. Like
shit, dude. Vox Media. I've done 3 documentary pieces like involving like large TikTok stars for TikTok on TikTok format.
And Instagram for Chevy.
For Chevy, yeah, their new electric, all their stuff, man.
Is there a different approach to these different types of projects?
Not really. It's still lit the same in a cinematic matter and a cinematic format and stuff. It's just like the aspect ratios change. We're lighting for a phone now. It's just like, it's weird.
9:16 or something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of 16:9, it's 9:16. You just turn it sideways.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Do you see that a lot? Do you guys see sideways mounted cameras for those?
All the time. Dude.
Yeah.
All the time. It's just like a thing now. And they just like do it like
just as an editor, I think about that. Like, that solves a problem for
instead
you.
Of an A and B, now your B
right.
is the...
But like as an editor, when I receive that, like that's... it's it's disoriented, so you have to reorient it in the timeline.
Like it's noted on the slate for social.
Oh yeah, I mean, I imagine if that's what I'm expecting to get, but it's funny to me.
And I mean, other than that, like
social A. Yeah.
I mean, this year alone, I've worked on commercials, music videos, a feature film, 2-3 shorts. And I've been blessed enough to work on film, like 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter, digital, but it's a fun market out here, man. There's a splash of everything.
Yeah.
There's enough if you know the right people.
So, I don't want to bring out anything that's unnecessary. So I guess, how do you go about grabbing work?
How do I go about grabbing work? Well, since I've been in the industry so long, I've been able to establish my name in the Midwest. So my name is pretty recognizable in the Midwest as a gaffer with accessible gear, an entire rental house that I partner with that I have right in my back corner. It's shout out to Advanced Multimedia.
That's I didn't know. I didn't want to call anybody out without permission.
No, 100%. That's my partner. Partnered to the death with Advanced Multimedia. That's my gear. I have owner operator rights over that gear. I have a lot of gear. Like I was just have a partner with them, man. That's like where I ride or die. Yeah. And I rent their gear. Yeah. I go out with their gear almost every day on set, and it's wonderful, man. It's just the best life, dude.
So at this point, I mean, you are what, late 20s?
Yeah. Yep.
And then you said you started around 14. So you're looking at about 15 plus or minus years in the industry.
Yeah. Half my life. More than half my life.
So obviously at that point, because we definitely have spoken about network and making connections and how living in this industry long is about creating your reputation, which you've spoken upon there. Was there a method that you took that you think someone else might benefit from if they're trying to get into the G&E life?
Work fucking hard.
Yeah.
Work fucking hard.
Call rental houses?
Tenacity.
Yeah, call rental houses, but make sure that any opportunity you get to be in front of anybody, you show them that you're the hardest worker that they could possibly hire. And not only that, you got to be friendly and you got to be liked. You got to be a pleasure to be around for 12 to 14 hours. Like, even if it's a stranger you just met. Yeah. Because, like, that's how this industry is. You meet a lot of people and you pass through a lot of people, but you know, when you meet them, but you're with them for 12 hours at a time. Right. And you have to be a good person. You have to be liked. You have to be likable to be around, because it doesn't matter how good you are at your job. Sometimes at the end of the day, if you're an asshole and people don't want to be around you, they're not going to hire you. Why would they?
100%.
They have options.
And there is a line though. Like, you have to be that guy that they're comfortable with asking, but afraid to ask too much of.
Yeah, in a way. I mean? Yeah, you also have to be comfortable with telling people no and being able to tell people no in a friendly manner.
Still in a friendly manner, yeah.
With reasons and with means to fix their problem in a way.
Yeah, I've found for me, and I don't know if people like it. They respond to it well, and that's why I continue to do it. But I'm succinct. I'm very precise when I speak on set, because time is always of the essence, but also because I want it to be clear what I'm asking for, so that we're not having a discussion later about a misunderstanding.
When it's go time, when it's time for a setup, I mean, if you passively watch me talk to my boys on my earpiece, or if you passively watch me give orders to my boys, you'd think I'm the biggest asshole in the phone.
Just flip over to Channel 9.
Dude, I holler out orders. I fucking bark orders. Give me ETAs. When is this up? I need this up. But at the end of the day, we
have a lingo, and it's all about love. At the end of the day,
I think at the end of the day, everything is thanked for. Everything is a thank you.
100%.
That's great. You have to show appreciation. You have to show thanks to your guys, and you have to uphold your guys. I always buy them lunch. I'm always giving my guys gifts. I'm always supporting my guys in every way I can, because you have to show the love to your guys. You have to show them that you appreciate what they do for you, because you don't mean to be a dick to your guys. I'm not trying to be a dick to my guys.
But it's a crunch. And
I have people
yelled at. I got to yell at somebody.
Yeah, and I'm getting yelled at, so correct. I'm yelling at them. But they have to, and that's what makes my guys, is they understand where that point is, and they understand that I'm not yelling at them for any other reason besides this is very important. Yeah. Because afterwards, there's all the thank and all the love, and then we have all of our bonding. So there's a big give and take in the industry, I suppose. Yeah. But
you have to be the type of person that can understand that kind of aggression coming at you and not take it personal.
That's part of G&E.
Strong. Strong.
And I think when I was being bred up as a grip before I was a gaffer, man, I got yelled at all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And the thing is that's where I learned that the thank you and the appreciation and the coming back afterwards was so fucking important. Yes. Because how many times I got yelled at by my gaffers, or put down or belittled by my gaffers, and with no appreciation afterwards after I did perform, or no thank you or anything. It just doesn't stick well. So I think even PAs, dude, if a PA helps me throughout the day, or if a PA is there for me, I will genuinely go to production and say, do not credit that person as a PA. They were with me all day. That was a grip. Credit them as a swing at the least. Or if I can't, I'll roll them a joint for the ride home. I always give them something, dude, because you have to show that appreciation and that love, dude. Yeah. And that whole mentality most G&Es, most gaffers have of don't touch my equipment. Don't, as long as you tell me what you're doing and I okay you doing it, please, I won't deny help. Who am I to deny you helping me wrap some stingers as long as I know you
but
can?
there are
carry apple boxes.
There is an extent.
Well,
yes.
I don't want to have to go
hands
back.
off my $20,000.
Right, there's exceptions.
That $500 stand,
I won't let them touch that.
It'll probably break your finger before you break it.
Right, but I will gladly accept help with my limitations. I'm not.
Of course, I'm agreeing
absolutely.
with you.
I don't want to be in a position where I've got to go back to the truck and rewrap 400 feet of cable because
dude.
Well, I'll make them. I have made grips not grips, but PAs rewrap stingers.
You want that grip?
Like on
and here's the thing: if they don't know, I will show them. So there's two things that I like to show new people on set, and I show them this for a couple of reasons. One, because it's always nice to be able to teach something and leave someone with something. So if they're green and they've never seen anything on set, if I can offer them a bit of knowledge they can walk away with, good.
100%.
And second, they're the two things that if I have wandering hands and I know that they can do it, I'm going to send them to do it. And that's wrapping ferny pads and cables. Yeah. Because on any set, if you're a PA and all of a sudden you I don't really need to teach you to carry sandbags, but
wherever set is,
you're right.
It's like wherever set is, I'll have my key grip go to the truck, and I will break down the things on set to a pile of individual items or cases or things that are ready to ship to the truck. Yeah, and then I will have the PA hands or my swing hands ship set equipment from me to the truck.
So that it can be packaged.
While I break it down and wrap it, that have already been handled.
It's been wrapped.
So that I know my key grip, who knows my truck, Fred Gomez, my key grip, who knows my truck, packing it away, and then they're just handling basic shit. So and I know it's packed away properly.
Shout out Fred. We hope to have him on here soon.
That's my boy.
Man, there was another question I was going to ask you while you were saying that was. I think thank you is the most important thing,
bro. Positive reinforcement
100%
goes farther than anybody can ever think in this world. Yeah. And as a leader in any industry, you have to recognize that.
Yes.
It's called being a good leader.
I 100% agree with you.
That's just what it is, dude. And on top of that, being a leader, you have to understand your men's strengths and their weaknesses. And I have my core group of men that I hire, and I understand all their strengths and all their weaknesses, and I hire them from appropriate positions accordingly, and I will not delegate tasks without taking that into consideration. I know all my boys' strengths and my weaknesses because they're my family. They're my boys. I love them more than anything on this planet. You know what I'm saying? They're my boys.
A couple of months ago, I just want to further that. A couple months ago, we did this thing with UFM.
You're talking about Sparrow?
Yeah.
Bro, that. And
we had so much going on. We had so many beautiful G&E people there.
I had an 8-man team.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was one of those just gorgeous days. And there was so much going on that this new idea popped up. And Trevor just looked at me and said, Joe, that light, he gave me a 3-word command. And after the day, regardless of what happened, after we finished and I left that position, he said, that's why I gave it to you. Because once I stuck you there, you never checked out. Didn't matter what was called over the radio. You spotlit that. Because what I did is I put a spotlight on a basketball.
Well, that's the thing is I knew that.
I followed that thing until
if I told you to lock in, you would have locked in. And I knew that there was, not all, but there's a couple other guys on that team that if I would have gave that position to, they wouldn't have locked in. They would have wandered, or they would have done other tasks or tried to command other places. So that's really where I've locked you in. And, because you have to understand your team's weaknesses and their, and I know Joe's strengths. I know that he could handle that task of keeping that light and keeping it on it appropriately in the nature that I, as a gaffer, would want that light to strike that ball. I could put that faith in him, whereas I couldn't put that faith in the entirety of the team that I had there, which is not talking any shit against any of the boys. I love them all.
But
I gave him that task for a reason. 100%, yeah.
You knew without, and that felt good for me to hear. Because I didn't get the congratulations or this is why you're doing that until after. And it wasn't in front of anybody. It was a one-on-one thing.
You can even say that on the second day, everybody was there. And why I had those extra people come to be outside to hold down because I knew that's where they shined with the equipment and holding that down. And I don't know, you just have to understand where your guys, and even calling builds, say I have to get a hood mount up. and I have 2 guys. I know who I'm going to ask to get me my rig points underneath the car, and I know who I'm going to ask to start building it because I know whose talents shine the most.
Yeah.
You have to just understand your boys.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. And that comes with out-of-set bonding. Like, for instance, I'm here right now doing this with you guys. You guys are my boys. Tomorrow I'm hanging out with Quinn McLaren. We're going to the gym. We're working out, making dinner together outside of set. You know, Fred and I go to church on Sunday together. Like you have to bond outside of set too, because that's what makes you strong on set.
Yeah. That's a point that's never really been brought up.
It's all about
before,
relationships.
That great point on that, because you're right. We do,
and then like my shop, Advanced Multimedia. If I'm not on set, I'm in there for at least 2 to 8 hours a day, like loading trucks, phone calls. And if there's no trucks or phone calls to load,
paperwork.
Dave and I are making lunch, hanging out, shooting the shit. Like it's all about being with your family in this industry.
Organizing the shop, ordering new parts.
Oh
and
God,
what's that new light coming
once
up?
once you like partner with a shop, dude, there is never a moment of any time that there isn't something to be done. Whether it's equipment coming back in needing to be checked, stands need to be put, trucks need to be reset, things need to be greased. Oh my God, dude, it doesn't stop. Like it just literally does not physically or mentally stop. Phone calls coming in, pre-plans being made, estimates being made.
That was something
like it literally
Bradford wanted to bring up. How do you manage taking in all those calls?
It's a lot of
a
lot of keeping mentally sane. It's a lot of like, for me, I have my notebook, and my notebook is my Bible. Every job that comes in gets a page and all the details, and I have my layouts and everything, and it's literally like a Bible for me. There's sticky notes everywhere. There's estimates and folders in that notebook. Like, that's my work Bible. That's how I keep everything straight and how I keep everything in track. And then I go to the shop, and I have my desk in the shop next to Dave's desk where I sit down and we crack open, and I do my calls with my producers and my DPs, and I build those estimates. He builds the estimates on his computer. We send it out. We go to the truck. We pack. That's where Fred shines. That's where Fred comes in. He gets those trucks reset. He gets those trucks beautiful. He makes those stands reset. He resets my bins. And then I can come in with my loads, and I can load my lights on top. So like he alleviates that stress. Like it's an all hands on deck flow. Yeah. And it really is.
Everybody's integral.
Everybody's integral, and it's so important. And yeah.
Beautiful thing you guys have going. I love going to visit the shop. I love
wonderful.
working with you guys. I love when I get a call and I get to join you guys on one of your jobs, or when I get a job where I need a little extra gear and
you gotta come in and get a peep at our madness.
It's an hour drive. I could go to DPL, but I'm not going to get the treatment. I don't have the rapport. It's not, nurturing the relationship.
So I had remembered what I was going to ask you when you were talking about crew being like family and how you treat them and how you learn them and how it all comes about. So online, I don't know if you follow any of the like crew like Instagram pages, stuff like Only Grips or whatever, Crew Life. But there's a picture
up with the grips on YouTube.
There's a photo that goes around often. I think it's a still from waiting, but more or less the story is that it's a picture of the kitchen staff, the back house, and they're always saying, "Here's your grips." This is your G&E team. Yeah, and it was something that when you were talking about like how you speak and so you've never worked in a kitchen, but.
I guess I worked at Subway back in high school, but that's not
probably not similar.
That's not anything.
So the comparison then is they're the guys.
Trevor would be a mean grill cook.
These are the guys,
for sure.
When you're talking about
fuck that place up.
Yeah, when you're talking about kitchen hierarchy, by the time you get to the guys in the back, all like courtity is gone. They're cursing. They're but
blowing coke.
But a good kitchen runs like and so. Would you?
If we're talking waiting, he's Dane Cook.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. Do you? I guess I thought you might be familiar with this. So instead of asking what your thoughts on it, is that a fair comparison? Like, do you believe there's just this
100%.
Little bit of letting loose that would be like if the rest of the film set heard what was going on, it would be like a little bit.
We're a different breed, bro. There's a reason that we became grips. So I've heard this old joke that every gaffer is a wannabe rock star that didn't make it. It's because we needed a place that we could be ourselves and not fit into social norms, but express our artistic outlet. And we found that lighting and gaffing and gripping is where that works, because we can be our son of a bitch self, and we can really get down with our boys all day long and not have a filter, which is hard for us sometimes.
Yeah, the Genie Boys are the wannabe rockstar frontmans.
Yeah.
All the audio guys are the guitarists, right?
No, but I guess that just makes sense, I suppose. So I mean, we're all genuinely ourselves because we don't really have restrictions unless there's clients around and stuff. And then obviously it's time.
Being
and
at the
place.
grip truck is out of ear most times.
Right, time and place.
You've got your own channel on the securities.
Yeah, we have our own private channel. We have our grip trucks. We have a private place to escape most of the time, which I guess some other departments don't have. So maybe that is the outlet to that, because the biggest thing for me and my boys is time and place. Obviously, on set it's time and place.
Yeah, we're very militant on set, but when we have the truck, we don't often eat at the food tents,
because
at the lunch tent. We go back to the truck and we cut it up.
It's a very common thing to see the Genie crew around, and there's
also
always strivers. There might be some camera people. It's not a forbidden.
For sure.
It's not a forbidden space,
No.
but it's guaranteed that your Genie crew will be there decompressing away from, like you said, the lunch line.
And that comes with at the end of the day, 90% of what we're doing is physically harder than most other departments. I mean, there's obvious exceptions, 100%, but usually we're doing a lot more physical labor. So usually we're a lot more hot, we're a lot more sweaty, we're a lot more dirty.
Right.
So our presence physically around a lot of that clean client cut, clean cut bullshit, is not usually that welcome sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So we displace ourselves for a reason sometimes, because we're dirty, man. We have a dirty job. We have a dirty job amongst a clean crew.
Right. Yeah, and even when other departments have larger jobs, when they need, we're the ones who step up. That's what the grips are for.
Oh my God, you have no idea.
You get art department has something too big for their people to carry. We got to get it up there for them.
Every time any department needs help, if it doesn't involve inside of that camera, they come to Genie for help.
Yeah, 100%. MUA needs power.
Anything.
Literally, for me,
literally, I had one of my producers call to me the other day and tell me that he fucked up the toilet and it was overflowing, and he needed me to go look at it, and I had to go fix the toilet with my wrench.
Because we know how to do everything.
That's what I'm saying. Why'd he come to me for that?
Right.
That's what
best problem solver on set.
That's a location.
I've always said that Genie are
that's who you address.
Yeah,
with
but
that.
you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go straight to locations and go. You better go check this motherfucker.
Well, I was gonna say, if the producer goes to locations, they're just gonna come back to you.
Exactly. That's the thing. Is we're the set daddies. We fix everybody's problems.
Oh yeah.
If somebody has a problem, they come to us about it. We're the professional daddies on set.
Yeah, that's where instead of calling us lighting designers or head of lighting, that's why they call us gaffers, because that's the term. And it was actually Phil Baumhart who told me this, and he recently told me he thinks he was full of shit, but I think he read something he doesn't remember, because he showed it to me.
No, I know what he's talking about.
But gaffer is the old guy on set who's been through everything and has the answers. Ultimately, he's
it comes from it's a derivative of the word Godfather.
Yeah,
it means
the guy who's
master,
seen it all,
the guy who knows all. Yeah,
can solve it all.
Yeah,
right.
That's why that's why the director has a big idea. He comes to the DP. The DP brings it into perspective, what he can fit into the frame and what he can shoot, and then the DP has to come to the gaffer for the perspective of what's actually physically possible.
And we make it fucking happen.
We're the end of the line to say yes or no. This is possible. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just before we get too far away and it becomes a moot point, I want to confirm your question. I was like, oh, okay, you guys are talking. I got time to Google. Gaffer goes back to the 16th century and is probably a contradiction of Godfather.
Yeah,
there it is.
We're the Godfather, baby. We're the daddies.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I said.
Or Godfather or Govna.
Govna.
Cheerio, Govna.
Dude, I've worked with some DPs that have joked about working overseas and how the gaffers, they always call the DPs Govna. All right, Govna.
Yeah.
No problem, Govna.
I would
funny.
honestly, I'd love to work. I'd love to work on a UK set. Everything operates different over there.
Wouldn't it?
The stories I hear,
Just to like experience the difference, right?
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was George Lucas. It was either Lucas or Spielberg, but it was one of those 70s era directors that made it over to the UK to shoot on like the Bond sets or whatever, where Ridley Scott shoots a lot of.
Yeah.
And they do tea time. And they're not, I don't know if they're union or whatever it is, but it operates like union. But he was like, they were down, and he was like, what is this fucking tea time? And they fucking walked. Production shut down. Was it Cameron?
James Cameron.
I know
and the movie was Aliens, right?
Yeah, I thought it might have been Aliens.
They were
Alien
like, no
2,
fucking
which
way.
everyone
was joking about Aliens. He went over there and he like lost his fucking shit. He was like, we need to be shooting. What the fuck is going on, dude?
And some cognate motherfucker was like, yeah, check him out, mate. It's fucking tea time over there.
Yeah. He was not happy about that.
I ain't turning on lights till the fucking Queen says, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, me. Fucking American twat.
Trevor's grabbing a drink real quick. That's all right, man. Top it off. Top it off. I'm off the flow. That was a great story, and I don't have anything to follow that up with. So you said also, you would,
as a good leader, you also have to understand how to step down and work positions below you. Because I worked several, like. Me and my partner, Dave St. George, we work together on a lot. Like when we often switch positions, he's often gaffer, creating and leading, and I'm key grip, taking his orders and constructing and managing equipment. And he's often key grip for me, where I'm gaffing and giving him orders, and he's managing the equipment and managing the bill. So you have to understand that give and take, and you have to understand that like sometimes you have to step down and take orders where or in your mind you have a better idea, but you don't question it. You just take your gaffer's orders. You have to understand that that's important, because that's the flow of set. Because where the fuck would we get if I'm arguing what he's telling me to do if I have a different idea that I think is better? No,
100%.
You shut up and you do your job.
Yes.
And if you want to quietly tell your idea to your higher up in their ear, like passively, that's fine, and maybe they can build off of that. I'm always down for suggestions.
This is why it's important when my radios departments have their own channels.
But at the end of the day, you do it before you suggest something else. You just do your job.
Yeah.
And that's so
because
important.
that continues the flow of the process. If you do anything,
that. Do you have a minute to talk about that while I'm setting this up? I was thinking maybe if I went a couple feet to the left, or we could get it up and then we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? But you're doing the job.
And I mean, Joe said that to me a million times. I'll either say, yeah, dude, Joe, I love it. I trust you. Do your thing. Or I'll say, no, Joe, this is what I want. This is what I discussed. Do it the way I said. And either way, Joe will say, love it, dude. On it. No matter what my response is. And that's why he's one of my boys.
Because you got to keep the flow moving.
You have to keep the flow moving, man. Yeah. And he knows that I respect his opinion and that, I love it. I love to hear it. But sometimes I just need what I need because that's what I need.
You don't always voice your opinion.
So
sometimes it's best to wait till they don't like it to say it. But
so
you feel it out.
You're
just the same relationship.
You're discussing this from a point of stepping down, right? Doing so as you mentioned, right? So before you get to the point that you're above, right? Yeah. So you're growing. Our listeners are growing and they're moving. At what point do you know when it's time to step up into that head of department type of situation? Was there a moment? Was it a particular
trial by fire?
Yeah,
trial by fire, bro. You have somebody who respects you that says, it's time to do it, dude. And you say, really? And then they say, yeah. And you just do it, dude.
Same.
You just have to go balls deep, and you just have to do it, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna fuck up. That's why you have your boys to support you, and that's why you have your boys to hold your back. And eventually, you won't fuck up, and you'll have your confidence. But you have to go into everything with confidence, and you just have to go balls deep in it, man. You just got to do it.
Jobs on your own. Yeah. Like I don't care how many years I am into it. It's still scary.
Bro, sometimes you don't know what you're doing. Sometimes you have to figure it out. Or sometimes it's your first time doing a build. It's your first time doing a new idea. You have to trust your abilities. You have to trust what you know. And you have to trust that you know what you know. And you just do it, dude. You just have to do it.
So last question for the night. is there something you have not had the chance to do on set that you ultimately would love?
Yeah, bro, I've been begging so many DPs to fucking let me put a camera on the back of a horse with like a black arm. I want to fucking rig a black arm upside down on the saddle of a horse on a carriage with 2 characters doing a dialogue scene, and I want that to be a natural black arm motion of it bobbing up and down on the saddle of a horse to this motion of the horse of the dialogue.
How much weight would you be talking about? Because you got to counterweight that, right?
I mean, not necessarily, dude.
Not with because the horse.
No, if it's spring loaded and the camera's light enough.
If you're rigging onto a horse, you got to understand
the mount itself, right?
Right, but you got to understand. So the first point in rigging onto a horse, you got to understand what a horse understands already of it being on it. So when you put a horse, first thing you have to do is understand how to saddle a horse. Once you understand how to saddle a horse, you understand where those pressure points go down onto the horse, and it understands where that weight can be distributed. So you understand how a human sits on it and it puts the pressure onto it. So you have to build a saddle accordingly, and you have to put that black arm at the point of where a human's weight would be, and then you have to put those pressure points down to those saddle points onto the horse so it doesn't get mistaken or feel weird. Bro,
I guess so for me, here's my question.
Real quick, it sounds like you didn't mean to sit down with some of my 3D rendering software and just
dude.
Sound, baby.
Sure, man. That sounds like fun. But I just think that would be so much fun.
It's a beautiful idea.
Like, besides lighting, I love constructing lighting plans, and I love creatively deciding how to light a scene to better the viewer's attention in the right aspects of how my DP wants the shot to be framed and where the attention needs to be drawn in the shot. Yes, I love that more than anything, but my other favorite thing in the world is rigging.
Rigging, baby. We
love rigging cameras.
So here's my question about that.
My favorite thing in the world is to tell a DP, put your camera where you want. Just hold your camera anywhere in time and space where you want it to be and how you want it to move, and tell me go. I will figure that shit out, dude. I love that so much.
That wheelchair rig.
Bro, I've rigged a puppeteer wheelchair rig. I've rigged a camera onto every point and every angle off of a car you could ever imagine. I've done process trailers from scratch, dude. I've done ATV rigs. I've done, the list goes on and on. Bicycle rigs, skateboard rigs, on and on and on and on. Yeah. And I want to start rigging off living animals.
So here's my question, just out of curiosity. So I guess now I'm
humanely.
I'm the first AD. I overheard you talking to the DP. The DP gave a look like he might consider this, and I'm like, okay, now I have to step in, and I just have to ask. When I'm mounting a camera on a car rig, we always ratchet that shit. And a car is going to, you can't bend the metal on a car, especially if it's a classic. Yeah,
you can.
Right? Well, you shouldn't. But to my point, how are you going to ratchet? So like when I talk about balance, I'm not so much talking about the rig itself, but when the horse moves, there's that, you can only strap so tight onto the horse.
Right. So you don't strap onto the horse, you strap onto the saddle. And the saddle is strapped onto the horse.
And then without a human being on it, because a human being balances the saddle when they're riding. We move, we shift.
That's where the black arm, right? The gimbal takes that balance and shifts with
So you are confident enough with that.
AI,
we're upright.
Yeah, test it a little bit.
Some kind of AI, we'd have to build a new kind of algorithm or something.
Because I'm down. I just,
No, that's
I just need to understand.
That's a valid question, bro.
I just need somebody to give me the excuse to do it so I can start doing
well, we'll see. At this point, you haven't. I would soft approve.
I've rigged on a jet ski before. That was fun. Dude.
There would probably need to. We definitely not need to discuss this on the day. This should be a.
Yeah, no. This is a pre-planned shot, dude. This is not an on the day.
Okay,
this is why you pay for tech scouts and pre-production. Sometimes we got to build you some shit. Well, you know what? This wouldn't be the first time something.
I am fast, and I can do things on the whim.
And I've seen you like his. I wasn't unconfident in the idea. I was like, okay, this is possible, but
it wouldn't be the first time something would be designed,
Bradford.
Built.
I got it.
Safety, brother. Safety.
And
safety's my middle name, dude.
Just to make a movie. It wouldn't be the first time something was designed, built, and patented just to make a movie.
Well, they've done a very similar rig, but it was fake horses. It wasn't a real horse.
Right.
And
the kind of horse that actually
I want to
looked,
dude, I want to do it, man.
It's the dogma in you. There's that little bit of like, no, if there's no horse, I don't want to shoot it.
What if you like rigged a horse and like you did a like parallel shot with a character on a horse?
Yeah.
And like you did like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I immediately see what you're trying to get from it, and I like it. Like I'm in love with the idea. So I just needed to ask that one question. Like, okay, but what about wobbling?
Like on the latest Pure Michigan stuff, we were up in the sand dunes and we rigged that black arm off the back of Richie's Jeep. And we were just ripping through the sand dunes, filming like ATVs and stuff. We actually broke his black arm.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was nuts. We broke his black arm, and we broke part of the Ronin, the carbon fiber Ronin.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah, it was nuts, dude. It's fun as fuck, though, dude.
The trailer hitch and it was just on the back, like
it was perfect. It was perfect. And I mean, like, it had nothing. The rigging was beautiful. The rigging and everything was totally secure. The reason it broke was because the arm and the Ronin couldn't take the stress of what
ripping
we were
through the fucking sand dunes.
That's
like,
the only reason
Jeep?
It broke.
Jesus.
But and nothing happened. The camera didn't fall. We didn't even realize it broke until we were done with our shot and we got back to base camp and we were like,
it was still suspended properly. It was just functionally broken.
Yeah, there was just a piece of it that was snapped on the thing, and like a part of the Ronin arm started to crack. So it was like in the works of being like the disaster.
Control of it.
Like if we would have went out for one more take,
you'd have been done.
It would have been fucked. But God said stop, dude. God said you got your take and shit's about to break. And so we listened. And sometimes that's what filmmaking is about. Is saying a little prayer in the morning time and hoping that everything goes all right. Like sometimes you got to rely on the great gaffer in the sky, dude.
Exactly.
Like, that's another thing I preach with my job.
Hey, you have 20 minutes with this lighting or nobody heard me? Okay, because I can't stop
like as a gaffer or as a lighting technician, you are relying on natural light a lot of the times or controlling natural light. But when you're relying on natural light, you have to have
natural light.
Dude, you got to have a good relationship with whatever you believe is up there that's controlling that shit because you rely on it a lot. So I truly believe that having a good religious connection helps you as a gaffer. I don't know. Maybe that's just all me, but I believe that that's a thing.
I mean, I think there's definitely some merit there.
There's definitely something to be said about being balanced in your life.
Right. I would say however you approach religion, because some people approach it just as a self-centering. Like that's
I'm very much more spiritual chakra. Like,
but really, I think the message is still the same. You know,
I agree.
Whatever you need to do to align yourself. To align yourself at the start of the day, at the middle point of the day, and at the end of the day.
Because like we have a long fucking day, man.
So many long days.
Every day's a long day.
With that in mind, I am trying to keep this brief because I know you've got a call time and some miles ahead of you.
Fuck it.
So I wanna graciously thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
You've expounded a lot of wisdom for our listeners and for myself, and it was good hearing you and Joe. Brother it up. You guys are part of a solid crew. So before we take off, if there was a listener who had any questions or anything like that, or they're just interested in seeing what you got going on, any social media or links that you want to link our listeners to?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. The most, G&E handle ever, Captain Hammer. Captain Hammer 1. Yep, number one. You can find me there. There's some of my rigs and some of my stuff on there. If you want to reach out, you can definitely reach out. I'm always looking for help on set. We always have bigger jobs where there might not be budget, but you can always come out and I guarantee you'll learn something.
Yeah.
Guarantee that much. I will teach.
Which is valuable. Knowledge
is
is fucking valuable.
Yeah, you won't learn it in film school, to guarantee that much.
Not enough hands-on. Genie is so hands-on that there's only they breed. We've had guests who have been through film schools and it's glazed over. And Genie is something those things like I can tell you some things, but until you experience other things that tie everything else together, that's the only way you're going to get better at that job.
I don't care how much you planned your shots, how much you visited your location, something's going to change, and Genie's going to be the one that has to form it for you.
Yep.
And that's why we're the godfathers of set.
Exactly.
Painting with light. Baby.
Yeah.
So, Joe, how can our listeners reach you?
On the good old gram at chaotic_artisan or the Joseph Sheldon Quick on the IMDb and whatever other socials that I probably don't use.
And I am at Beeford Clark on Instagram. The show is at UFOstudio.Detroit. And you can join us on Facebook at Unorthodox Film Podcast and continue the conversation there. We are always looking for more suggestions on topics that you might want to learn about on set, or particular people that you might want to learn from. I know we've got some makeup artist friends that we'll reach out to. We're still reaching out to our community and bringing people in. So let us know who you'd like to learn from, and we will bring them on to chat. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time.